David Benson is the CTO and co-founder of Bebop Technology. Dave has spent more than 20 years developing groundbreaking technology solutions for film studios, television networks, digital content developers, and distributors, including folks like Deluxe, Sony Pictures Television, and Final Draft. Hello, David. Welcome.
Thank you, Larry.
Tonight, we're looking at security for our media as we migrate more and more of both production and post to the cloud. But before we start talking about security, how would you describe Bebop?
I'd describe Bebop as more of a collaboration platform than anything today. Where it started 4 or so years ago was really focused around enabling certain use cases around workstations and storage and various other pieces and parts. Where we've evolved to today, as I said, is really more of the integration of all of those things and the way you actually interact and consume them, which turns more into a collaboration type of use case.
What do you mean by collaboration?
Collaboration is essentially the intersection of all of those use cases. So if you think about editorial on its own, if you think about visual effects on its own, if you think about animation on its own, all of those things are pieces of an overall supply chain that creates content. And so when you bring all those things together into one platform and ecosystem, which is Bebop, you start talking about collaboration a lot more than pieces and parts and workstation configurations.
So it isn't just the editor's task or the VFX artist's tasks, it's how they relate together?
Exactly, and that's a lot of where the security conversation comes into play, because whereas in the past you had disparate locations and regions where these things were happening and you had to manage security in a different way, now we have an opportunity to manage it in a more centralized way in a single logical secure environment that spans across all of these different locations and within some of the largest public cloud providers on the planet.
What first got you interested in creating a cloud-based service?
My previous company to this that now is called Bebop Managed Services was a company called DSB Consulting that I started about 8 years ago. We built various large platforms over the years for different studios and post-production houses. When we finished a large project for one of the studios where we migrated their entire channel licensing business into AWS, the entire workflow went very nicely into the cloud except for one piece, which was the editorial, because at the time there was no way to do that viably. And so once we finished that project, I was starting to experiment with how to solve that problem because it was intriguing to me. And that was right at the same time that Amazon released their Teradici-based Workspaces product, and we work very closely with AWS for many, many years. And so I was poking around at how they had done that, came to Teradici very quickly. I created a partnership with them, and about 4 to 5 months after that, we spun Bebop out of DSB Consulting and launched the company. And the rest is history.
Very cool.